dear students. Hope you all are fine, beta. Dear students, आज हम आपकी टेक्स्ट बुक हॉर्नबिल का चौथा चैप्टर टच करने जा रहे हैं. टाइटल लैंडस्केप ऑफ द सोल, written by Nathalie. Before discussing the topic, before explaining the whole topic, this is a very small topic. Let's have a brief look about the artistic nature of Europe and Chinese, because the writer has contrasted the two arts, the art of China and the European art. Before we begin today's discussion, let me ask you, dear students, how many of you are artists, painters, or appreciate the paintings and sketches? Dear students, art is a natural language of expressing oneself and is a universal form of communication. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम कोई स्केच बनाते हैं, अगर हमें कोई मैसेज कन्वे करनी होगी तो हम एज एन आर्टिस्ट एक मैसेज कन्वे करने के लिए एक पेंटिंग बना दे ताकि दूसरे लोगों को पता चले कि इस आर्ट में ये खाली पेंटिंग ही नहीं है. द आर्टिस्ट वांट्स टू कम्युनिकेट द पिक्चर टू सम मैसेज टू द masses. Thomas Morton once said that art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. Dear students, today we shall discuss an excerpt from the article by Nathalie titled Landscape of the Soul. In this topic, dear students, the writer highlighted the ethics and spirituality in Chinese painting. This excerpt is a comparative study of European. Remember this thing, in this topic, the writer shows us the readers a comparative study of European and Chinese painting. Because the writer is an art historian who translated the work City of Genes, a book by William Dalrymple. This chapter begins with a small anecdote about an 8th century Chinese painter, Wu Dozi. His last painting was Landscape, which was authorized. This painting was the Wu Dozi's last painting. It was authorized and sponsored by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong to decorate palace walls. After his work was completed, when the painter finished his assignment, when he accomplishes his assignment, he called the emperor in order that emperor will view and appreciate his painting. As a painter, he was so creative, he was so artistic in nature. He hid that painting behind the screen. After completion of that painting, the artist hid that. उसने उस painting को छुपाया पर्दे के पीछे, स्क्रीन के पीछे, ताकि ये खाली only the emperor could view it. खाली बादशाह ही इस पेंटिंग को व्यू कर वही देख, क्योंकि उसी की फरमाइश पर ये पेंटिंग बनाई गई थी, क्योंकि वो अपने महल की दीवार को सजाना चाहता. तो ऑर्डर उसने दिया एक पेंटर को, एक आर्टिस्ट को, वन डोजी को, कि मेरे महल के लिए एक खूबसूरत सी पेंटिंग बनाओ, एक तस्वीर बनाओ जिसे देखकर लोग सराहे कि नहीं, इस एम्परर में टेस्ट है, आर्टिस्टिक टैलेंट नेचर का है ये. तो जब उसने खुद वो पेंटिंग बनाई तो उसने उसको पर्दे के पीछे छुपा दिया ताकि जो बादशाह देखे, और he wants to that only emperor could view it. When emperor viewed it, जब बादशाह ने उसको देखा, Xuanzong ने, टैंग एम्परर ने, he admired the wonderful scenery for a long time, paying attention to the forests, the high mountains, waterfalls, floating clouds in the sky, along with the flying birds and men walking along a hilly path. जब उसने देखा इस पेंटिंग को तो वो he was so surprised. उसने एक एक चीज का बहुत ही बारीकी से उसने एग्जामिन किया, व्यू किया कि उसको उस आर्टिस्टिक एक्सलेंस पर फख्र होने लगा. And the men walking along on hilly paths. The painter then informed the emperor that in the mountain cave at the foot of the mountains lived a spirit. The doors of the cave appeared suddenly after the painter clapped his hands. He then invited the emperor to come inside the cave and led the way forward. But, however, to the emperor's astonishment, to the emperor's surprise, to his surprise, the doors of the cave closed behind the painter. जो ही पेंटर ने क्लैप किया दरवाजे खुल गए. अब वो बादशाह से कहें कि आप भी आए थोड़ा सा नजदीक, तो जो ही बादशाह नजदीक गए तो वो दरवाजे सारे बंद हो गए. Behind the painter, the entire painting vanished from the wall of the palace. Suddenly, the painting, which was made on the order by the order of emperor, suddenly that painting, after viewing by the emperor, the painting from the wall vanished. That was the last time the painter Wuhdozi was seen in the world. Dear students, such legends means old stories, long old story, and anecdotes played an important part in Chinese classical education as they helped the masters to guide their disciples in the right direction. Another example of Chinese painting is given where a famous painter would not draw the eye of the dragon he had painted in fear that it would fly away. The writer contrasts this with European tale of Antidote in the 15th century. A master blacksmith, Quentin Matsesi, has fallen in love with a painter's daughter, but was afraid their love would not be accepted because of his profession. अब बेटा यहाँ पर कंट्रास्ट हो रहा है 8th सेंचुरी की पेंटिंग जो चाइनीज पेंटर ने बनाई थी, अब 15th सेंचुरी की जो एक यूरोपियन पेंटर ने बनाई थी. अब इन दोनों के बीच में कंट्रास्ट हो रहा है इस टॉपिक में. राइटर कंट्रास्टेड बोथ द पेंटिंग्स, the European as well as the Chinese, but was afraid their love would not be accepted because of his profession. To win his love, to win the love of the painter's daughter, Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio and painted a very realistic looking fly on the master's latest panel. The fly was so realistically painted that the painter tried to swat it away. This story is an example of realism in the arts. Dear students, realism in painting is the attempt to present subject matter truthfully as it is originally without avoiding any elements. It is also called naturalism. Impressed by his work, the painter admitted Quentin as an apprentice in his studio and let him also marry his daughter. These two everlasting stories are used: the story of Wandozi and the story of painter and his daughter's affair with the blacksmith, used to highlight the difference between the objectives and approaches of Chinese and European paintings. European paintings are traditionally figurative, realistic, while the Chinese art are more abstract because Chinese cannot be explained or defined in real terms. The Chinese painter wants you to experience the essence of the inner life and spirit of painting. Dear students, this topic is landscape of the soul. is about how different the Chinese art form is from the European art. The writer uses two stories to make a contrast between European art and the Chinese art. As European art is concerned, it is about reproducing an actual view, while as Chinese art is about not creating a real लैंडस्केप. चाइनीज आर्ट में बेटा होता है ये कि चाइनीज के लोग जो आर्टिस्ट होते हैं उनकी जो आर्ट होता है, उनकी जो पेंट वो ब्लर होती है, वो क्लियर उसमें नहीं शो करते. वो उनका इंटेंशन ये होता है कि जो ये व्यूअर हो, जो ये देखने वाला हो, वो देखे, वो खुद इमेजिन करे इस पेंटिंग को, वो खुद देखे कि यहाँ पर ऐसा है, यहाँ पर ऐसा है. ही कुड इमेजिन इन हिज ओन माइंड. लेकिन जो यूरोपियन है वहां पर रियलिटी होती है, वहां पर फिगरेटिव होता है, तो वहां पर टोटल क्लियर हो जाता है. लैंडस्केप वर्ड जो है बेटा, लैंडस्केप वर्ड मीन्स, इसको चाइनीज में शेनशुई कहते हैं. शेनशुई मीन्स यंग यिन. इन हैज टू एलिमेंट्स. लैंडस्केप को चाइनीज में, इन चाइनीज कंसेप्ट, यंग यिन, माउंटेन एंड वाटर. माउंटेन को बोलते हैं यांग, वाटर को बोलते हैं यिंग. माउंटेन मीन्स यांग एंड वाटर मीन्स यिन. द माउंटेन reaches vertically towards heaven. It is stable, it is warm, it is dry in the sun. But water, yin जिसको बोलते हैं, is horizontal and rest on the earth. Mountain, yang, it is a male aspect of universe, while as yin, water जो है, that is female aspect of the universe. Stable, warm and dry, but water is horizontal and rest on the earth. It is fluid, moist and, क्योंकि ये माँ की तरह, ये वाटर जो है जिसको फीमेल एस्पेक्ट दिया गया है, ये नरम होती है, ये आराम पहुंचाती. लेकिन जो माउंटेन वो खड़ा रहता है एक बाप की तरह, एक साये की तरह. एक हिम्मत होती है इंसान की कि पीछे मेरा बाप मेरे पीछे है, माई फादर इज इन माई बैक. तो माँ जो होती है सोबर होती है, मॉइस्ट होती है. यन इज ए रिसेप्टिव. यन जो पानी जो है, माँ जो होती है, फीमेल जो होती है, वो रिसेप्टर्स होते हैं. फेमाइन एस्पेक्ट यूनिवर्सल एनर्जी, वो एनर्जी देती है. लेकिन माउंटेन जो है, यंग जो है, दैट प्रोवाइड्स अस courage. Landscape means yang yin means, yang means mountain, water, yin means water. Mountain is a Chinese, इसको Chinese शेनशुई concept है. Mountain means yang, water means yin. Mountain is a male aspect of universe, water is female aspect of universe. That's the simple introduction about the topic.